Interested in the newly redesigned Tuft & Needle Mint Hybrid and want to learn all about it? We're going to talk about that in today's video. Hey, how's it going? This is Owen. I'm a CNET, and today I'm covering the top 5 most important things you need to know about this new mattress from Tuft & Needle. This is their most high-end mattress. They did a pretty comprehensive redesign of all of their beds, and all the information about Tuft & Needle should be linked for you down below in the description, including a full written review of this bed and any discounts we can find. If you find this video helpful or interesting, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate it. But let's just dive right into the number one most important thing you need to know about this mattress. That's going to be its construction and feel. This is a hybrid mattress, so it's going to use individually encased coils for its main support layer. These basically give you the same support level of traditional inner springs, but they're much better isolating cross-mattress motion because it's not one big interconnected unit. Right above the main layer of coils, you actually have another thinner layer of what they call micro coils. These are basically just shrunken down versions of regular coils that provide a little bit more support, airflow, and a pretty unique type of feel, which we'll talk about here in a second. Above the micro coils are going to be 3 distinct layers of foam, and Tuft & Needle as a brand tends to not use a traditional memory foam. They use their own proprietary foams called T&N adaptive foam, and there are a bunch of varieties of that type of foam. So you have coils, tiny coils, and then 3 different layers of foam. And the entire feel of the bed winds up being sort of a blend between a more responsive neutral foam and a little bit of memory foam. We have observed in our mattress testing over the years that microcoils present kind of like memory foam. This is because there are so many of them. You get nice targeted body conforming support from these things, but also they don't have that slow to respond quality of a traditional memory foam. When we tested the original Tuft & Needle hybrid way back in the day, which this bed is replacing, we actually thought it used memory foam. Turns out it was just the microcoils. So I think the feel of this bed is very accommodating. However, you do get that hint of memory foam that doesn't exist on the Tuft & Needle original hybrid. And that leads me to the second thing we should talk about with this bed, and that's going to be how it's different from the Tuft & Needle original hybrid. Both of these beds do feature similar types of foams, and they both use coils for support. One has a more dark gray, sleek green aesthetic that I like. That's the Mint hybrid. However, that key difference between these two beds is going to be price and that layer of microcoils. The Tuft & Needle original hybrid has a much more neutral feel. You're not going to feel any memory foam at all thanks to not having those microcoils in the bed. On the Mint hybrid, you do get those microcoils. I think they will improve the airflow a little bit, which means it probably gets a slight edge in temperature regulation, and it's also going to be quite a bit more expensive. So if you don't like the idea of having microcoils in your mattress, or you're just trying to save a bit of money, the original hybrid might be the way to go. Now, the third thing we should cover with the Mint hybrid is going to be its firmness profile, and of the 4 Tuft & Needle mattresses we tested, this one was the firmest, winding up in the medium firm range. We generally consider the medium range to be 4 to 6 and the medium firm range to be 6 to 8. And this was a 7 out of 10 according to our Mattress Measure 9000. That means this bed will probably be most ideal for back and stomach sleepers. I think if you're heavier like me, for reference, I'm like 210 pounds, I am pretty comfortable on my side on this bed, but if you're much lighter than me, you probably won't be, and you might wind up with some hip and shoulder discomfort while you're sleeping. If you want something softer from Tuft & Needle, the Tuft & Needle original, the all foam model, which is their most affordable, that was a 5.2 out of 10, which is smack dab in the middle. I think the firmness profile of this bed will work for a lot of people, just not for everybody. And then the fourth thing I want to cover is how this bed performs for couples, and those 2 categories are namely edge support and motion isolation. Both of those are quite good on the Mint hybrid. One additional thing we've noticed with microcoil constructions is that they do a really nice job at isolating cross-mattress motion. So if you're a light sleeper and you're sharing this mattress, I think you'll be pretty much set on the Mint hybrid, and that is not always the case with beds that feature coils. The edge support on this bed is also very good, not something I'd worry about. It's not the absolute best we've tested, but even putting my entire body weight on the edge of the mattress, I didn't really feel like I was going to roll off. So as long as you and your sleeping partner are okay with the firmness profile and feel of the Mint hybrid, I think you'll be good to go on those 2 other important categories. And then the fifth and final thing I want to cover with the Mint hybrid is going to be pricing. It does compete with other beds that we really like the Sofa Classic and the Wink bed, coming in at around $2,000 for a queen size. Tuft & Needle is one of those brands that tends to not offer discounts throughout the year, while saving them only for major holidays. If you maybe wait around for Independence Day or Black Friday, you might be able to save a little bit of money off that $2,000 retail price, but $2,000 is the main price you're going to be paying most of the year. And with those 5 things out of the way, that leaves us with the question, who should consider picking up the Tuft & Needle Mint hybrid mattress for themselves? And I think that price point makes it a little bit of a tough sell in my opinion. You could spend virtually the same amount and get a Sofa Classic, which is one of our all-time favorite beds, or save quite a bit of money and go with the Wink bed mattress, which is a very luxurious pillow top bed. I think this bed will work really well for a lot of people, especially couples. It performs really well in edge support and motion isolation, has an accommodating feel and a generally accommodating firmness profile. But I think there are just other competing options that might be a little bit better for the same or less money. If this bed fits your budget and you wind up buying it, I don't think you're going to be returning it. I think it's solid. I think people will like it. That price point just makes it a little bit tough for me to recommend to everybody because there's a lot of really great beds out there in this price range. But let us know what you think. Write us down below in the comment section. We'd love to have your thoughts. And again, tons of stuff in the description to help you out with your online mattress search. If you found this video helpful or interesting, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that a lot. But that's going to do it for me. This is Owen with CNET. I'll see you in the next one.